Namaste. So now take your time and understand this concept because your competition doesn't. Alright, this is crucial to understand the very core crux of the CrPc, because if you understand this and you start writing this properly, you will have a very distinct advantage in your mains examination. Alright, so remember we've done code of sessions and everything. Code of sessions में कौन बैठ रहा था? Was it a judicial magistrate or is it a judge? Key point number one, it's a sessions judge, alright? But herein, we are talking about judicial magistrates. So note, there's a separate, distinction, there's a hierarchy. Judge, judicial magistrate. अलग concept है, कृपया करके. Because remember, we in law are very finicky and fanatical about the words that we use. So do not make this mistake. I've seen many an attempt ruined wherein people get this concept between a judicial magistrate and a judge all wrong, and the examiner just throws your answer sheet out of the window. So take your time, slowly and steadily, get this concept inside of your system, digest it, absorb it. It's going to take some time. Okay. Magistrate, as we have already discussed, judicial magistrate and executive magistrate. Now, what exactly are these executive magistrates? So, for example, when you were taking admission in your university, if so required, आपके पास कोई ऐसा कागज होता है that only a SDM can make. होता ना, SDM के पास चले जाओ, get your EWS certificate made from the SDM. Executive, on behalf of the state. So work that is administrative in nature and sort of police-ish in nature is done by the executive magistrate. Why do we need these? Article 50. Article 50 is a DPSP which says that the state shall endeavor to keep judicial and executive separate. And then the 41st Law Commission recommended that on a nationwide scale that we have executive magistrates separate from judicial magistrate. एक तो ये कारण है. Second point, why do we need this is, for example, let's say the police, when they arrest you or whatever work is done prior to when your trial starts, if these two were like clubbed together, police wala kaam bhi, which is controlled by executive magistrates, is being done by the guy who will try you. Do you understand? So our prosecution में कौन है? Prosecution में भी state है. तो आपको पकड़ने वाला state, they can pretty much fabricate any document that they want against you because all those procedures are under their hand if both of these were clubbed together. And then who's going to try you? घूम फिर के फिर से state. Correct? So therefore we have to separate out these two so that if the state has a vendetta or enmity with you, we cancel that effect out. So judicial magistrates are governed by the High Court. Executive magistrates are state government. State वाला काम कौन करेंगे? Executive करेंगे. Police in nature काम कौन करेगा? Executive करेगा. और by the way, यहाँ पे कौन काम करेगा? जो आपको जो ट्रायल पे जो बैठेंगे सामने आपको ट्राई करेंगे, because you have to be impartial, so you have to be separated out from the state because state is the prosecution, right? So if any time in your mains they ask about executive magistrate, these points you have to mention so that the examiner knows that you know. This is very easy for me to tell you, magistrate, judicial magistrate, executive magistrate. वो तो सब किताब में ही दे रखा है. The logic behind and such logics will get you through your mains very, very easily. So judicial magistrate again subdivided into first class and second class. Let's get into the punishments later. Now, as I said previously in the previous lecture, one of these guys, one of the judicial magistrates is picked to be the chief judicial magistrate. So one of the executive magistrates is also picked as the DM or the district magistrates. तो होगा तो इसी pool में से एक निकाल लेंगे. And mind you, again, these are distinct from sessions judges, alright? Okay. So additional DM, remember हमने additional साथ में रखा था, तो जो as वाला level है, that means the assistants, they are subordinates, right? तो हमारे DM साहब आ गए, additional DM साहब आ गए. Additional मतलब अब काम का workload ज़्यादा है तो state government ने कहा कि भाई एक और post बना लेते हैं. DJ कौन आ रहा है? Subdivisional magistrates, the one that we deal with, right? And out of those we have executive magistrates and special executive magistrates. Special meaning जो कि एक specific purpose के लिए post create की गई है. If the government wants it, they can basically create this post. Okay. Now let us look at the hierarchy. And I request you after this lecture, what you want to do is you want to take a piece of paper and pen and you want to recall this hierarchy from memory. And you're going to do it 5 times. 5 times you have to create this hierarchy on your own, because you will have to create this hierarchy in some mains answer one or the other way. Alright. First and foremost, Supreme Court 124. So it's basically a constitutional body because the Constitution mandates that we have a Supreme Court. We have the High Court. And both of these guys can pass any sentence. The keyword is any sentence authorized by law. Is it not? इनके ऊपर जी कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है, ये कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. High Court articles 217 onwards till about 230 something, but most important 226, 227, 217, right? 124 for the Supreme Court and 124 से लेके 147 because 148 is CAG. Now, if you can quote articles as well, even in your criminal law answers, the examiner will be like, bloody hell, I want this guy to be a judge. Alright. Now, Supreme Court, High Court is done. Then we come to the Code of Sessions. Now, herein is the limitations with the kind of punishments that you can dish out. Start. Code of Session can also go with any sentence authorized by law, but if they pass a death sentence, it has to be confirmed by the High Court, and that is a prelims ka question as well. Alright, so therefore understand this, then the limitations are starting here. Death has to be confirmed by the High Court. Okay, so now death yahin tak hai, death iske baad nahi hai. Death has to be necessarily, the punishment for death can be given by a Code of Session, High Court, Supreme Court, ऊपर है सब कुछ. But Code of Session अगर death देगा तो High Court से confirm कराएंगे. Simple, got it? Now we are going to come. अच्छा, this is Sessions Judge and Additional Sessions Judge. Remember, we had placed Additional Sessions Judge साथ साथ. Subordination कौन है? Subordinate कौन है? Rather, subordination में rather कौन है? The Assistant Session Judge. उन भाई साहब की क्या limitation है? 10 years imprisonment. But can he pass an order of death? No, absolutely not. Then we have the Chief Judicial Magistrate. हमारे ये वाले भैया Chief Judicial Magistrate की limitation क्या है? 7 years or a fine. Then we have parallel में Chief Metropolitan Magistrate, 7 years and a fine. Metropolitan area हो तो Chief Judicial Magistrate को मैं क्या कह दूंगा? Chief Metropolitan Magistrate, right? Now subdivisions out of these. Remember, death threats सब यहाँ खत्म हो चुके हैं. CJM से मैं नीचे आ रहा हूँ. I am going to go to the subdivisional judicial magistrates, wherein we are passing, as in punishment sentences for 3 years or 10,000 in fine. It used to be 5,000 earlier. And out of these, we have two further classes, which are first class and second class. It's as simple as that. ये 3 साल या second class वाले 1 साल. So technically speaking, this is the same thing. We're just subdividing and opening it further. 3 years, judicial magistrate second class can pass a punishment or imprisonment up to 1 year in jail. So these years is basically in jail time. Or 5,000 ka fine and 10K ka fine. This used to be 5,000 and 1,000, but after the 2005 wali amendment, it's been changed. Chief Metropolitan Magistrate को भी हमने subdivide कर दिया. Metropolitan Magistrate 3 years and 10K, which is basically the same thing. Remember, this is for metropolitan areas, and we have special metropolitan magistrates. Special ones are created on the request of the government. Where is this given? Section 13. First homework for you. As in second now. क्योंकि list पहले बना रहे हैं ना ये. We're going to read section 13. So High Court can create the post of Special Judicial Magistrate. Tenure of the post, crucial prelims ka question, up to 1 year. And who is qualified to be a Special Judicial Magistrate? Any person on any post held under the government, if the High Court thinks that they are qualified enough to do the job, so they can be made a Special Judicial Magistrate. But रहते 1 साल के लिए, 1 year at a time, so it has to be renewed. Alright. Section 13 from the Bear Act, you're going to read. Now, subject to the control of the High Court, that's what Section 14 is saying. From time to time, the CJM, that is Chief Judicial Magistrate, may define local limits under, for example, Section 13 में हमने बना तो दी Special Judicial Magistrate, but इसकी jurisdiction क्या है, इसकी jurisdiction limit क्या है, कौन define करेगा? CJM. Remember, we are talking about, यहीं पे अगर हम मान लेते हैं एक यहाँ पे स्पेशल वाले को भी रख लेते हैं JM को, ये सबऑर्डिनेशन किस में है? CJM, स्पेशल मेट्रोपॉलिटन मैजिस्ट्रेट सबऑर्डिनेट किसके है? चीफ के हैं, तो इनकी लिमिटेशंस कौन डिसाइड करेगा? चीफ साहब डिसाइड करेंगे। और मान लेते हैं इन लोगों के भी लिमिटेशन, जुरिसडिक्शंस कौन डिसाइड करेगा? व्हेन आई एम सेइंग लिमिटेशन, एक्चुअली आई मीन जुरिसडिक्शन। कौन डिसाइड करेगा? चीफ साहब। एंड चीफ साहब इज सबऑर्डिनेट टू हु? A sessions judge. So sessions judge is quite a powerful person, and that's what we are aiming at to become eventually, right? Okay. Section 15 क्या कह रहा है? CJM is subordinate to a sessions judge. That's what it is. Sessions judge ऊपर, chief judicial magistrate भी नीचे. Remember, we have classified them on the basis of the imprisonment or the punishment that they can dole out, right? CJM नीचे. These guys, any sentence authorized by law, death has to be, they can pass death but it has to be confirmed by High Court. But a CJM only 7 years and a fine. 7 साल से ऊपर तो फिर assistant साहब के पास जाना पड़ेगा, assistant नहीं तो फिर sessions court के पास जाएंगे, right? अच्छा. Now homework for you. Third homework from the lecture. You want to go to the Bear Act 28 and 29. You want to read section 28 and 29, and you're going to forever from today, always remember, section 29 subsection 1 read with section 29 subsection 4 tells you about the CJM की power या limitation of the power. ये आपने जब भी, whenever you write 7 years and fine, you will not write it without section 29 subsection 1 read with section 29 subsection 4. Same with 29 subsection 2 read with 29.4, 29.3 read with 29.4 for second class, for judicial magistrate of first class, section 29 subsection 2 read with section 29 subsection 4. Because if you start doing this read with, the examiner knows that you're better than the competition. Remember, it's a competitive exam, so we have to prove ourselves to be better than our competitor, that I can be a better judge than you. We become better judges when we know the statutes. When we know that a statute doesn't work mostly in isolation, it has to be read with something. Okay? So this is done. Now, another homework. आज homework की बाढ़ आई हुई है. And spend some time in trying to absorb what has been taught to you today. This is the most crucial lecture अभी तक. अब होता क्या है कि judiciary में भी, this is certainly not talking negative about anyone, but usually teachers focus on bail, arrest, and other provisions, pre-trial procedures and everything. This I have noticed quite a number of times that basics aren't exactly cleared very well. And if your basics, mind you, your k is not clear, your vyakaran, the grammar portion, you will struggle with it, you will in fact trip over it. तो ज़्यादातर चीज़ें यहाँ पे गलत हो जाती हैं. तो कृपया करके एक बार आराम से इसको बैठ के सोचिएगा. अच्छा, और ये भी सोचिएगा कि ऐसा ये बनाया क्यों हुआ है. पॉपुलेशन इतनी है ना, वर्कलोड एक के ऊपर नहीं डाल सकते, तो हमने पनिशमेंट के वाइज पे डिवाइड किया हुआ. नाउ वी ओपन द फर्स्ट शेड्यूल, लाइक वी हैड ओपनड कॉग्निजेबल, नॉन कॉग्निजेबल, बेलेबल, नॉन बेलेबल में अगर आपने शेड्यूल का काम किया होगा, यू विल नोटिस दैट देयर इज अ कॉलम 6 which has to be read with column 3 of the first schedule, of course. And there is something known as section 3 as well. So we have to read it with section 3. It says, for example, 302 IPC में आपको basically पकड़ा गया मर्डर के लिए. Trial by which, triable by which court? The code of session. तो केस लगेगा ही code of session में. क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे we are looking at life imprisonment to death, right? Let's say 323. This will be, I think 320 is heard, 321 is grievous heard. So I think this will be heard or grievous heard. I think it's heard. Okay. Any magistrate, trial by any magistrate. Now any magistrate में you can raise the question, sir, any magistrate means executive magistrate also. Schedule से just ऊपर 2 लाइनें पढ़ेंगे, right? And section 3 पढ़ेंगे any magistrate. Magistrate, जब भी word आएगा, section 3 will tell you this, it's referring to a judicial magistrate. Alright. 346, let's say wrongful confinement in secret. That's obviously 302, 323, 346 is IPC. it's going to be tried by the judicial magistrate of the first class. Now you can say, where did the metropolitan magistrate go? Section 3. Section 3 में लिखा हुआ है, if we are writing judicial magistrate of the first class, it means a metropolitan magistrate in a metropolitan area. That's why CrPc is like a chessboard. You know, you move one piece, you have to think about the other pieces as well. So you're going to read this. You're going to keep in mind, the sessions judge is a different guy from the judicial magistrate. And the judicial magistrate are different people from the executive magistrate. Okay? So absorb this, take your time, try to create this hierarchy out from memory. Because ये hierarchy बनानी ही पड़ती है. कौन से साल का कौन सा भी पेपर दे दो, ये hierarchy बननी ही बननी. ठीक है? ये कुछ अभी याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि मेंस में यूजुअली यू विल हैव द बेयर एक्ट, तो फर्स्ट शेड्यूल आपके सामने वहाँ पे पढ़ा ही होगा. यू कैन प्रीटी मच रेफर टू विच ऑफेंस विल बी ट्राइड बाय विच कोर्ट. सो ऐसी कोई ज़्यादातर याद करने की ज़रूरत है नहीं, और ज़्यादातर प्रीलिम्स में इस पर MCQ आते भी नहीं है, MCQs यहाँ पे आते हैं. ओके, नाउ we finally move out of the magistrates, and now we go and get into the basics of, well, further concepts. And now things will become much more interesting, provided that we have our basics in place now. So I believe now we have a very solid foundation to discuss more and more concepts. All right, see you in the next one.